Hello, I'm here with Elio Vannelli in beautiful Trieste, Italy, and today I just wanted to talk to him and hear more about who he is and his work here in Trieste and here in Italy. So Elio, would you tell me a bit about who you are, where you're from, your family?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Elio Vannelli, and I come from Italy. I was born something like 1 hour far from Trieste, and I was raised in a Catholic family. Not really practicing family, but I was the practicing one, the one that when I was teenager was very involved in all the Catholic activities. And then God had something else in mind. And I met my wife Nicoletta here in Trieste.
Okay.
And we have 2 children now. One is 12 years old. His name is Christopher. And the other one is 10 years old. His name is Gabriel.
Okay. And did something happen with one of them recently this week?
Oh, yeah. Just last Saturday, he got baptized. So
Wow.
a big fancy party and a lot of tears and emotions in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then yesterday was your anniversary, your wedding anniversary?
Yes, 20 years of marriage. So
Wow.
long time, and this shows God goodness and faithfulness in our life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So how did you go from practicing Catholic? How did you hear about the gospel? How did you become a Christian? How did that happen?
Thank you. I met my wife in the Catholic Church,
Okay.
and after some years of being very involved in church activities, we had different paths in our faith, but and we were practicing, but we were not really. We didn't speak about God in our private life.
Okay.
So we were without knowing this from each other. We were passing by a spiritual fade away, and without knowing. So my problem was with the sin. So I knew exactly, and this is what God brought me. I knew exactly that what I was doing was not enough to cover my sins, and was not enough to gain Him. And I was realizing this, and I was very, very distressed and was very sad about that. So I was leaving everything just to say, oh, I'm not enough. And Nicoletta, she was struggling with worship, so she couldn't see the. She was singing and playing and singing in the Catholic Church, and she was not involved. She felt that she was worshiping a God that was dead instead of a God that is resurrected. So in the same time, God brought us in different places without knowing really each other, brought in this situation.
Wow. And how did your families respond when you guys became believers?
Oh, yeah. The fact is that Nicoletta found this church, and I was very mad about that. So I started reading the Bible and going to the church to protect her.
Okay.
And God has different ideas in His mind. So when I saw God, when I saw Jesus that hung on the cross, paying for my sin, just for free, it was like a great thing that I wanted to share. And so we and Nicoletta got baptized together, and my parents came to the baptism, but
Wow.
her parents didn't came.
Okay.
And after many years, so 14, 15 years now, her parents didn't come to Christopher baptism last day. So my parents took it pretty well. Her parents not.
Not so much.
Not so much.
Okay. Wow.
And our friends, they didn't like that we left the church to join something that they considered. And I understand them because I was the same spiritual ideas. So for in Italian, whatever is not Catholic is a sect, so a cult.
Yeah.
So they were thinking that we were joining a cult, and so they just left us.
Yeah.
Most of them.
With the music, I know that was a big part of the story for you guys, and was that part of the draw for Nicoletta? Was seeing people worshiping a living God and not a dead God?
That's true. We attended a gospel workshop, just gospel music worship, and this was a really intense time. It was not made for evangelization, but just for business.
Okay.
But there were many believers in that setup.
Okay.
So we really found ourselves in this context. And Nicoletta is always the one that God uses to highlight things in our family.
Yeah.
So God uses this to bring us to Him.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
So tell me a bit about, you went from that to now you're the pastor of a church. How did that progress? Yeah. How did that happen?
Really God plan, and that used the former pastor, Matt, and his wife. They are the ones that with Nicoletta started the Bible studies with them, okay. Especially with Barbara, Matt's wife, and we became very close friends. Okay. And so sharing friendship and ministry, it was just a huge part of our path.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, we realized that spending our time not in mission was very unfruitful. So both Matt was the pastor of the church, but he had an intense job to support his family, and I had an intense job to support my family too, and we had very little time, and I was working out of Trieste, so very busy job, so it was really hard to be in mission here in Trieste. So something had to change, and we tried to raise support, but it was not enough. At that time, the Vannelli family, Matt and Barbara, they decided to leave Italy, to go back to the USA, and to accept a position as a co-pastor for a church, and to raise support for us. Wow. So they left so that we could take the leadership of the church.
Wow, I'm sure that was a huge transition period of going from two people to more weights put on you, but also having the time to invest more, and to have Matt leaving, I'm sure was just a huge challenge.
It's unbelievable. I just tell this story because I think this is a gospel story. This is something that it's not easy that someone leave everything, that someone that planted the church and wanted to be involved full time in the ministry, just for the sake of the gospel, for the sake of the kingdom, leave everything in order to support some local people to lead the church and to plant more churches that are led by Italian people. This is something that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. And you're also involved with the leadership of Acts 29.
Yeah.
Just in Italy or in Europe, or what's your job with that?
Yeah, I'm involved in the board in some way here for Italy, for Italy. But just now we, as Italy, we are leading the Southeast Europe environment. There are not so many churches in South Europe, so we are helping these churches to create their own X29 network. Okay. So right now I'm the assessment coordinator for Southeast Europe. So I'm helping people to to go in line and be assessed to become part of X29.
Okay.
But the real job is to help them to become assessors and to create their own network.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that like former Yugoslavia, or what countries is?
Yeah, former Yugoslavia, Albania,
Okay.
Greece, the Balkans,
Okay.
more or less. Yeah.
Okay.
So right now we are involved, and as a church we are supporting, in a little way, we are supporting the first Albanian church that was planted by X29, not by, but by a pastor that
Yeah.
became X29. But all the process was really cool, and to be part of that is really awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To see it already spreading outside of Italy, and
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
to be supporting that work. How can people, believers in the States, how can they be supportive and encouraging in the ministry here in Italy? Not just financially in prayers, but are there
Yeah.
short-term trips? There's all kinds of things that are in the cloud, I guess, of ideas. But what ways
Yeah.
do you see people in the States supporting the church in Italy?
Yeah. First of all, to know what's happening, so to know the situation and pray, not just generically, but specifically to take ownership of some situations that are happening in Italy, and maybe invest in prayer on that, and then maybe I would say it is part of financials, but it's more like I would say adopt a pastor.
Okay.
We have a lot of people like me when I was in the former job that have heart to be involved and to invest their life in the ministry, but there is no culture on that, and there's no idea how to make it possible. So to adopt a pastor means to take someone that God is growing to become a local leader of the church, and so maybe adopt a pastor is a good way. We have as X29 Italy, we have a lot of people that are in this position that they don't know how to do it, how to make it possible. So we want to create internship programs and plant more churches in areas where God is not worshipped. So maybe adopting a pastor will help to help young people to grow in an internship program where they can really grow in a church that is already planted and then be sent to plant a new church. So this will be great. And maybe, as you already said, sending people, more like sending the best ones, the one that a church would love to hire as a pastor for themselves. It would be great. Or and people that really want to invest their life in Italy. This is maybe the best thing, like you do with your job in video and audio. This is something that is really needed in Italian churches. We don't know how to do it, basically. Or someone that can maybe start some enterprise to support the church and to help the church to be self-sustainable. So someone that is very well organized and had entrepreneurs ideas to really start. Or maybe someone that wants to invest his own life helping some Italian leader to disciple. So not being the first, but being the one in the middle that create that culture that Italians need to see how it works. So someone that goes along in a church and helps. So this is what's happening here in Italy, here in Trieste. Sorry, our missionaries now, they are the best ones in creating friendship, connections, and being just so supportive to me that they lead me a lot of work. do a lot of work so that I can really invest my life in studying, preaching, pastoral relationship, pastorship, but even visually see what's happening in Trieste. And they are the ones that I have a lot of connections and bring and are supportive, and even we can talk a lot about how to make it possible, and they are the doers more like in that, and that's awesome to me.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's working, yeah.
Yeah. What are some specific ways that people in the States could be praying for you, for the church here, for the church in Italy in general?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, to pray for us as a family. We have 2 teenagers, so they are starting coming. So we are investing so much in their life, not only in their life as is normal, but even in the connections that they already have. Yeah. So we have to spend a lot of time with them, for them. So why not not be in ministry with them into their environment? So I'm involved with the church, with the school. Okay. So I'm part of the board of the school, and so God is using me to have a voice into this school with 800 families. So wow. It's really cool. So maybe for us, you can pray just that we are faithful in that, and that God uses this gospel presence to bring people to Himself. So that's a good way to pray for our family. And then for the church, we are transitioning to a new place that God is providing, and it is something like a place that is recognizable here in Trieste. So that this new place, God uses really this new season of the ministry for His glory, and just that we can have a real voice into the city. And we just, as a church, we just multiplied. Being a really small church, 3 families went next to Trieste in the plateau area, more rural area, different context, really a different context, but that God, so 3 families went, go there and plant the church. So if you can just pray for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the church in Italy as a whole, what are some of the challenges? I know unity is a big challenge in Italy among the churches, between the churches.
Yeah, there are historical reasons right. for not unity, and this is a problem. Yeah. But what I saw in the last 5 years, there are some networks that are growing, that are very cool, and I think that if you can just pray for unity and for these networks, so that pastors in Italy realize the beautiness, the good thing that is to have really strong connections between churches. So there were some models that started, but they didn't work very well. But now I see a new season. So if you can just pray for that.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Well, thank you for your time and for meeting with me today. I know you've got a busy schedule and a lot of things that you're involved in, and
thank you. Thank you for this.
Great to be here in person and not over Zoom. And
that's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Ciao. Grazie.
Ciao.